Hello guys, welcome to Visordown. My name is Alex, and here in front of me we are riding the Indian Pursuit. It's brand new for 2022 and we're in Chamonix, if I said that right with my French accent, right on the border of Switzerland, right near Mont Blanc. God, I'm getting all the accents out today, but it's an absolutely wonderful day we've had riding this. It's of course the Tourer, it's based on the Challenger from Indian, and it's got the PowerPlus motor. And we've done around about 150 miles thereabouts, and it's basically been constant twisties, turns, everything. And then there's been a little bit of a breather every now and again going through towns, and you can play about with the touchscreen and all this, but I'm getting a bit too into it. Let's just roll some clips of me riding about, trying to look cool, and then we'll talk about the bike. So as you're watching me ride around on the Indian Pursuit, I thought it was worth mentioning that the Challenger was here on the launch as well, for comparison's sake. So the Indian Pursuit has a top box on the back and the Indian Challenger has no top box, just as a quick difference between the two. So first things first really is, what is this bike? Now as I said, it's based on the Challenger from Indian. Is the bus going to fit in? Are we going to get knocked over? Oh, expert. So as I say, yeah, this is based on the Challenger from Indian, but it's basically more of a touring option. So you've got your top box, your panniers, you've got your vents at the front, you've got some heated grips, heated seat, you've of course got the ride command system, you've got the PowerPlus motor, you've got quite a lot going on here, and it's basically a tech haven. The price of the Indian Pursuit, it starts at £27,895 and it goes all the way up to £29,095, and that's sort of depending on whether you go for the Icon limited edition with the different paint. Of course we've got the black one in front of me here. I've never ridden an Indian before, so this is the first time I've ever jumped on an Indian, so of course America's oldest and first motorcycle company. So yeah, I had a few misconceptions, preconceptions before jumping on one of these, and I sort of, in the back of my mind, was thinking this is going to be really heavy, really slow, really hard to ride. When it starts picking up in speed, it's not going to handle well at all, and I'm pleased to say that that's not true whatsoever. The bike itself handles brilliantly at speed. It is heavy and it is around 400 kilograms dry. So a rider like me that's quite tall, I can just about cope with the slow speed maneuvers, but even sometimes I found it wanting to topple over a little bit. Shorter riders like Toad, bless him, would probably struggle quite a bit here where the weight really starts to come onto you at low speed. But once you know what you're doing, it's manageable and it's absolutely fine. As I was saying though, when the speed picks up and you start rolling comfortably in the town, cities and dual carriageways, even the twisties, this thing feels so balanced and so smooth. It's so easy to ride, and the PowerPlus motor is a huge part of that. Of course, it's the 1768cc V-Twin 60-degree liquid-cooled motor, and it's got 120 brake horsepower and around about 178 newton meters of torque. It revs really low, so the peak torque is around 3,000 revs, peak brake horsepower around 5,500 or thereabouts. And that basically means that when you're cruising in second, third, fourth gear and you roll on the power, the engine will just sing and you'll be taken away and you'll be just loving life really. You've got 3 rider modes, rain, standard sort of road mode and a sports mode, and the bike really does feel different in sports compared to rain. It feels like 2 different bikes in all honesty. So when you're going through town and you're in rain mode, low speed, and you want to have a little bit less throttle input and just a little bit less of the throttle, rain mode. Sport mode, full throttle, and you get the full action from the bike there, and it really does open up. As I say, we had 150 miles sort of twists and turns today, and because this is an absolutely beautiful part of the world, I was enjoying this as a touring bike. Some of the others in the group were really pushing on as sports riders and really going for it, and the bike was handling well on both occasions. Sometimes I'd want to push on a little bit and start enjoying the twists and turns, but other times I'd just be flicking through, looking at the map, looking through the data, looking through the information, connecting the phone to Apple CarPlay, using the radio, the speakers. It's great fun. And of course, if you're going 2 up, your lovely partner is going to be sat back here in luxury with just the best sort of seat I've ever seen really. It looks beautiful and it's very comfortable, because sometimes when you parked up, I'd park myself at the back here and it's very comfortable to sit in. Talking about touring, the tank itself, let me just double check. I believe the tank is 22.7 litres, and I think you can get about 300 miles range from your full tank. Of course, it's hard to tell because we only rode for a day today and it was full on, then some cruising full on, so it's hard to really gauge what an accurate miles per gallon is going to be, but I believe it's going to be around 250 to 300 comfortably. So I've spoken a little bit there about the bike, the motor, and what I really want to touch on as well is the ride command system. It's the 7-inch touchscreen that's right in front of you, front and center, and it's really easy to use. With this bike, you get the electronic suspension as well, and you can add your preload. So, you know, when you go in for lunch, you can add your rider weight. And then after lunch, when you add on a few pounds that you've just eaten in your burger, add the ride on, and preload is going to be adjusted through the screen as you basically do it there. And you can adjust everything through that ride command system. And I've got to say, it's brilliant. You've also got the Apple CarPlay, which is something that I've mentioned on previous bikes, is for a tourer to not have the sort of iPhone, smartphone integration, to me is a bit of a miss. So for this to have it, happy days. Of course, plug in your phone, you can charge it in one of the ports there. Accessory wise, you can change that to more speakers, and accessories is a whole nother ball game, so I'll come to that later. But the ride command system, top marks for that, because it works so well with your gloves on, flick through everything, see everything you want, you can customize it, you can really just dive deep into that. And for some parts of the ride, I was really trying to figure out the best way to put in different widgets, and yeah, you can have a blast on the ride command if that's what you're into. I did just mention, of course, the electronic suspension briefly, so just touching in on that, you've got a 43mm USD fork, so upside down fork at the front, and then you've got a Fox suspension at the rear with the electronic option. I will just throw in that the electronic suspension is now available as an option for the Challenger as well as the Pursuit. So if you've got a Challenger and you're looking at speccing up a bagger, you can add on the electronic suspension for that if you want to. But in any case, you've got the preload adjustability on that, so you can change how much preload you've got, whether you want to have it a little bit firmer for you and your partner, or just for you, or if you want to just have it a bit softer for some cruising around. You can do all of that, and suspension is really nice. Mid-corner and mid-turn, it feels really planted and solid. And of course, with the PowerPlus motor, if you roll on the throttle, you can smoothly come through out of any corner and start scraping some pegs. It's really impressive what this suspension can do, considering that the bike is so heavy. You know, it's around 600 kilograms in running order with yourself added on as the hefty weight that I am, at least. And for the suspension to work so smoothly and balanced as it is, very impressive. We'll just throw in, of course, the Brembo brakes at the front. You've got twin Brembos at the rear. I believe it's just a standard sort of Indian market rear. And they are 19 inches at the front, 16 inches at the rear. Braking is really nice. You've got adjustable lever at the front, and if you really pull on the lever, power does come in quite nicely, and you can slow yourself down coming up to some of the twisty corners really nicely and confidently. Just to throw in on that as well, you've got a 6-axis Bosch IMU on this as well, and that's got smart lean technology, it's got the cornering ABS, and I will admit that sometimes that did come in quite handy when we were really trying to push through the twisties and you're slowing up quite nicely, but on a bit of a canter. The smart lean technology has then kicked in a little bit, and you can feel it working and allowing you to continue pushing through. So yeah, Bosch IMU on this, really good. So just to jump into the accessories, I mean, this has just got accessories for days. We were briefly looking through in the presentation about what accessories you can throw onto this, and genuinely the options are endless. I mean, you can change the seat to be a cool seat, a hot seat. You can change the speakers, you can add more, you can maybe take some away if you don't want some. But in terms of the Pursuit ultimate sort of icon package of all of the accessories, you're going to have a really formidable tourer here. And whether that's for sports touring in a way, or whether that's just for comfortable touring you with a partner on the back, this is going to be something you can really spec up, but you will pay for it. I mean, already the price, if you go for the Icon Limited, £29,000, add on maybe 2 or 3 grand in accessories, and you're looking over £30,000 for this tourer. But don't get me wrong, it's going to be packed to the nines with gadgets and tech and trickery. It's really easy to ride, and yeah, I mean, if you've got the budget for a bike like that, fair play. Just remembered as well, in the presentation, we had a brief video from McWilliams, the bagger racer, who basically rides about on the Indian bagger in Daytona and the Moto America series. I don't watch it myself, so I'm sort of vaguely talking about it here. But in any case, he basically said that he was gutted to not be here on the launch, but he absolutely loves this PowerPlus motor, the chassis, and he was raving about how good it is. And if a racer is riding around saying how good this bike is, I mean, that says a lot to me. Someone that's way better at riding than me saying that this bike is excellent in terms of what you can do with it. He's winning races on it. He's got the bagger options on it, and he's doing well. I mean, yeah, I'll take his word for it, because fair play. A quick shout out as well to Chamonix and the area that we were riding today. I mean, the whole route is a route that was ridden by the Indian motorcycle team, the senior guys who came over from America, working with the EU guys, and it was a sort of joint effort in terms of when they were deciding what to do with the PowerPlus units, their future direction in terms of models and brands. And it's quite interesting to actually find out that the bike itself was shaped on the roads that we were riding on. Therefore, it's not an American cruiser that I thought it was, that has just been chucked over to the EU market. It was actually designed and developed in the EU with the sort of head honchos, as we're about to get hit by a car. No, it was a shout out for the rides here, and of course the development team that came over, and they were developing it on these roads, which, as I was saying before we almost got run over, that's really impressive to me, that this isn't a bike that was developed in the in the US and chucked over to the EU. It's something that they actually developed here on the roads that we are on, which is no surprise given how impressive this bike is on these twisty and turny roads. So just to wrap things up and give you a bit of a verdict and what I think about the bike and my sort of first impressions from the launch, this is a very impressive machine, I've got to say. Yes, it's a little bit weighty at the sort of low end town speed, slow maneuvering stuff, but all of these bikes are. I mean, if you look at the K1600, the Goldwing, you know, just all of those big bikes, that's exactly what these are all about. But when you get this up to speed with the PowerPlus motor, it is superb. It is so good fun. And if you have the budget for this bike, which is again around 27,895 to 29 grand, this is going to be money well spent, I've got to say. If you're looking at a touring machine, this will do it. If you're looking at something that's just going to be eating up motorway miles, this will do it. And if it's something that's going to be taken on a European tour all the way into this sort of part of sort of Swiss and French border, this will do it. And that's very impressive, I've got to say. So, of course, if you want to find out even more about this bike, head over to visordown.com for my written review. Whilst you're here, leave a comment down below about what you think about this machine and if you'd give it a test ride, and if you prefer the Indian motorcycles over the Harley Davidson motorcycles, because that's always a hot topic. Like the video whilst you're here, subscribe to Visordown, all that good stuff. Appreciate you watching this far into the video. My name is Alex. Ciao, bye, and arrivederci. No, that's Italian. What's the French? I can't remember. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.